Hello and welcome. It's Liz from West Star Tarot. And today I'm doing a video response to Machsa at Musings by Machsa and Masha's video series that she is calling Top Tarot Trumps. And we've already done the Fool and the Magician. And today we are doing one of my favorite favorite tarot cards and archetypes, the High Priestess. I have had this framed on my wall for probably, 30 years or more. I think it was a card or a postcard, and I just loved it. And so I put it in this little frame, and I have it hanging up on my wall. And that imagery represents to me the High Priestess. So let me start off with my cards. I had them in order and then somehow they got out of order. Anyway, I have more than 5, just to give you a heads up warning. And the first one I wanted to talk about was this image by Pamela Coleman Smith. And this is one of my favorite High Priestess cards. I love how Pamela Coleman Smith portrayed the High Priestess. Some of the things that I associate with the High Priestess are the moon. So we see here the crescent moon, and then we see this crown of Isis, maiden mother crone. Her dress is blue and cascades down from her lap like water, and behind the veil, you can't see it as much. If you look really closely, you can see this water. So to me, the High Priestess is associated with the moon and with the element of water. So I feel that she is I might as well hold this card up. She is an archetype of wisdom, ways of knowing, listening to your inner voice, and not only listening to your inner voice, but trusting your inner voice. She's about silence, stillness, peace, magic, and she represents non-linear and non-rational thought. Again, as I mentioned, solitude and stillness. She speaks to us from our dreams, and she is the keeper of mysteries. She's also about, represents self-awareness and self-reflection. So those are some of the things I think about when I think of the High Priestess. And one of my very favorite High Priestess images comes from the Star Tarot by Kathy McClellan. And I somehow associate the color blue with the High Priestess. Maybe it is because of the water, the dark night sky with the moon. I'm not sure, but this beautiful dark midnight blue is gorgeous and really speaks to me of the High Priestess. You can see her gown of blue is speckled with stars, and she is holding a star. We have, instead of a literal veil behind her, we've got a spider web that is separating the conscious world or conscious thought from the unconscious world or unconscious thought. And so the star she is holding contains universal secrets, mysteries, and answers. And that's another thing that I believe the High Priestess talks to us about or symbolizes, is that all the answers we need lie within. We just need to go into the silence, the stillness, the peacefulness. Sit quietly and listen. to our inner voice, to our intuition, and the answers will come forward. This is another of my favorite High Priestess cards. You can see again the cycles of the moon, the pomegranate. This is the representing of the columns, and this High Priestess is from the Fifth Spirit Tarot by Charlie Claire Burgess, and she is holding a box with the inner mysteries locked within it. Next up is another one of my favorites. This is Daughters of the Moon, from Daughters of the Moon by Fiona Morgan and her artist collective. And this card, we can see it says the Priestess at the bottom, and then at the top it says Isis. And this is literally Isis representing the High Priestess. And we can see she's got her crown, the crown of Isis. Again, we see the beautiful dark blue in this card. And she is holding the moon. She looks within. She is an oracle. She is receptive and sensitive to the mysteries. She is all-knowing. She acknowledges, accepts, and tunes into her psychic powers. And she urges us to do the same, to sit in silence, to welcome the stillness and solitude, to become calm and present, and listen to our inner voice as we tune into our psychic powers. Next up is the Priestess from the Witch's Wisdom Tarot by guidebook is by Phyllis Carrot. The art is by Danielle Barlow. And this High Priestess also has that beautiful dark blue color in the background, but instead of blue, she's wearing red. She's standing in front of this beautiful full moon, and actually here her legs become the columns as she stands, as she has a leg on either side of this water flowing from this well. And the well is representative of knowledge, mysteries, and so forth. And so the High Priestess is standing there guarding and straddling that water. I love this card because, and let me show these two cards, because they show the High Priestess as an elder. This is the Unfolding Path, and this is the Superlunaris. And this shows the High Priestess as elder. And again, we see this is got a paler blue, but here we see that deep, almost purple blue, and the moon. And here we see the crown of Isis, Maiden Mother Crone, and a pomegranate. And here we see birch trees representing the columns that we saw in Pamela Coleman Smith's representation. Here is the High Priestess from Tarot de Saint Croix by Lisa de Saint Croix. And again, we see reflected the themes that I've been speaking of, the columns, this is a literal representation of Isis, because this is Isis. And here she is sitting in front of the columns of knowledge and wisdom, holding a High Priestess card. She too has the beautiful blue background and blue cape that she's wearing. I love that one. This is a younger High Priestess from Tarot, the Next World Tarot. And again, we see the same themes of a woman of wisdom and silence and mystery, patient. We see that she's got this pile of pomegranates behind her, and the waning crescent moon in front of her, and the beautiful blue water behind her. I think this is a gorgeous High Priestess. Doesn't she look centered, grounded, still. She's okay with solitude, and she's wise. The two of the High Priestess, the number 2, we can see here, I think on all of the cards, represents balance and choice. So it's both of those things. Here we see the High Priestess from the Gaian Tarot by Joanna Powell Colbert. And again, we see a veil, a pomegranate. We see that beautiful blue water, the crescent moon. Here we also have an owl and a salmon, which have symbolic meaning for this card. And this is the Gaian Tarot speaks to dreams. The High Priestess speaks to dreams, visions, and voices. And she asks us to pay attention to our dreams, pay attention to the inner voices and visions that we may have. This card asks a question. Is she maiden or is she crone? And Joanna said she's both. She represents the wisdom that you gain through aging, but the freshness of youth. So we see this combination in this High Priestess card. And then finally, the last one I wanted to talk about was from the Wildwood Tarot. I just think this card is gorgeous. I am so struck by it. And instead of blue, the predominant color here is green. But we do see water in front of her. Oh, I just love this one. Water in front of her. And in the Wildwood Tarot, all of the major arcana are placed on the wheel of the year with the 8 holy days represented, you know, starting with spring equinox, Beltane, summer solstice, Lunasa, Mabon, Samhain, winter solstice, and Imbolc. Did I get all 8? Anyway, the High Priestess is representational. She's right in the middle of their wheel, but on the side that represents autumn and water. And so I think water is a big part of this card, the High Priestess, of this archetype. Water, the moon, and the High Priestess all represent to me the divine feminine and that more yin side of things, as opposed to the yang of the magician. So we've moved now out of that fiery magician into the calm, peace, stillness of the High Priestess. So those are my favorites. I had probably another 10, but I decided 20 was just too many. So I went with those. And I would like to just take a moment before I close to once again thank Machsa for not only creating this great tag, but inviting the tarot community to participate. It's really a wonderful way to think about the decks that have our favorite cards in them, and then to revisit each of the major arcana as we go on our journey every 2 weeks or so over the course of a year, visiting each of the majors. So I've been enjoying watching other people's videos. And now that I have finished mine, I'm going to go off and watch Machsa's, because I see that she just posted hers earlier today. So peace and blessings to you all.